You want to be that much of a snitch to call the fucking police just because I want to walk around? You're fucking crazy. You're out of your fucking mind if you really snitching to the because somebody's walking through your neighborhood. That's the type of shit I'm talking about. Paranoid neighbors to where I would always park in front of this guy's house and fucking he would call the cops. Sometimes the cops would already be sitting in their car when I pulled up. Like, you know what I mean? The cops never said nothing. Eventually they got to the point where they would drive around, see me, or be posted up and be like, oh, this fool, yeah, this is his routine. He wakes up, he walks.
Max was the turnout of my lifestyle. Smoking green, blowing white clouds to build the blue skies. Conversating with the gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Walk through the sands of times like Gara. On the other side of that gad is karma. You wet Prada, the devil like inside your box now. While the angels fly over my headstone.
We are back with another episode of the God's Hour podcast with your boy Big Sir Bavelli, back in the place to be, La America Superior, Palace 81 Studios. We are live in effect, live and direct. It's your boy Mr. 9 Times. Yeah, man, today's mathematics is wisdom and understanding, all being born to equality. So whenever you are speaking, hopefully you give your wisdom and your understanding so you could better bring about, you know, equality or whatever it is, whatever information you have to give to better, like, so when I think about treating people equal, it's kind of like, if I withhold information from somebody, that's not really fair. That's not equal. You know, I'm not treating everybody with the same sort of equal respect or equal whatever. You know what I mean? So when you are speaking your wisdom, or whenever you are giving your wisdom and your understanding, make sure it's fair across the board, across everybody you meet, everything you see, and just to bring about equality. There's a lot of things that are unbalanced in the world. There's an imbalance in just life in general. So make sure you bring about your wisdom and your understanding so you could bring about equality. Peace. Today's drip check, we have Fila Rismo lows. These are like, I've been putting on like new Fila shoes. So, you know, I got Fila fucking the classic purple boxes, the white boxes, the green boxes, the black box. And now they're coming out with brown boxes. So these high key though are fucking hurting. This shit right here, this guy is fucking, whenever I step, or just actually it's this part of the shoe is like rubbing against my ankle or the ball of my ankle, pause right here. And this shit is really fucking me up right here. So maybe I won't really wear these as much as my other shoes and shit, but y'all know me, guys. I'm just buying shoes every check. I'm buying shoes and I'm buying a hat. Like, you know what it is, dog. This ain't really for the Dodgers. This is for La America Superior, the loaded max spit, bruh. Lavish magic stick, bruh. I mean, we all know what it is. The Lou Money Stackers, bruh. Come on now. Thought we all knew we were all on the same page. You know what I mean? You know, yeah, I was going to come up with new shit, but I forgot. I have like a lot of for shit for what La America means and shit. But yeah, man, kind of a busy week. I've been getting back into beats, man. So I just had a conversation with Slick and a little earlier with JBL, and I'm finally ready to knock the dust off of the machine. After this, I'll definitely dedicate more time. What I think I'm going to do is the beats that I have right now on my computer, because I just make all my beats on Logic. I think I'm going to just finish those, and then I'm going to dedicate an hour every day to the machine. Maybe not on my work days. Definitely an hour on my weekends, but probably like some time just to fuck around with the machine. And here comes my dad. He's bumping fucking rock music. And no one can see him right now, but he's throwing up the peace signs. But, you know, instead of listening to my music, my pops wants to listen to like some fucking weird ass metal rap that no one's listened to in the last 20 fucking years. But I mean, that's him. What are you gonna do? The guy wears gator ass shoes and then he listens to like rock music no one really cares about. That's just my dad, you know what I mean? And I love him for it. But what the fuck was I talking about? Pops just literally threw me for a fucking monkey wrench on that shit. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, making beats. So I've had the machine for like literally 9 years and I haven't made one beat off of it. That this year is gonna change. I'm gonna make a whole fucking beat tape off of the machine this year. And it's like with even with Koala too, I have that shit too, but I'm trying to do what I do on Logic onto fucking Koala and the machine, when it's like, no man, it's a new thing, it's a new MIDI, it's a new way of making beats, and you shouldn't go in with applying like what you are trying to do the same things you were doing before. You want to go in and with a fresh mind and a fresh way of looking at it and being like, okay, let me make something new. Let me like apply new techniques and just do it that way. I think as producers, we can all get a little comfortable, and with I've said this before, but comfortability kills creativity. You know, I'm very much like, oh, okay, I already know how I want to do it and the way I want to do it, and that's fine. But at some point, you got to experiment. You got to get out of your comfort zone and maybe sample some shit you don't really sample, or just kind of like whatever it is, you want to get better with your producing, whether that be new sample packs, drums, one shots, like whatever it is, like just experiment and bring like more perspectives and tools into your arsenal. Because if you don't, you're just gonna be like one of these type beaters that they just do the same shit. It's like every beat is the same. And not to knock none of these producers like a Primo or Apollo Brown. But when I listen to their beats, it's like, okay, I heard one and I heard them all. I don't really hear any differentiation between beats. That was what I was afraid of with Big Classic. But I told Big Classic, look, I'm going to need faster beats, because he was doing about, I don't know, like 80 BPMs in his shit. And I told him I want some faster shit. I'm tired of like before Greenlight 3 and before, it was like slow, drumless. For a long time, I was just doing like the same slow shit. Even if you look at shit like 44 Degrees, Solo-Fi, El Cucuy, like a whole bunch of albums I did, they're all slow. Like there's very, very rare. I mean, you guys could probably count on your fucking fingers how many fast songs I did, because it's not many of them. You know what I mean? So just with producing, you kind of, and just anything you do, you want to, going back to Big Classic, I told him, I was like, look, I want different shit. So we added different things to his beats, making them faster, putting the finger snaps instead of the snares. And with producing, what's up, Pop? You want to say hi to the people real quick? Pops, you can't be silent and over here taking a picture of me doing a podcast.
Good night, America.
Okay, he said good night, America. Are you going to sleep, Pop?
Buenas noches, America.
All right, good night, Pop.
Mexico. Good night.
Love you, Pop. Okay. But yeah, like with Big Classic, it was like a lot of the beats sounded the same. I told him, I didn't tell him to switch it up. I just said go faster. And then he started making like dope, faster beats. Like I think like I love that, to where he just figured it out. I didn't have to tell him everything, you know what I mean? And as artists, when we work with each other, I feel like some artists, they get it, and some artists, they don't get it. Some artists be real dicks about working with others and being like, well, this is how I do it, and that's that. And it's like, well, why can't we just collaborate? Why does it have to be like your way or the highway type shit? I've never worked with, I don't think I've ever worked with no fools like that. It's kind of like, I'll accept, actually, nah. I think for what it is people know how I get down, and I know how they get down, and we kind of meet in the middle. But for like let's just say Chava, right? Because me and him have worked. Me and him have worked for both of us. We've worked with each other more than we have with anyone else. It's just kind of like, I think it starts with like mentally, right? So I remember when me and Chava were like first making music or just knowing each other. We fuck the music, or maybe this was like in the beginning. He was like, yeah, I'm like 3 years older than you, but I feel like we're mentally on the same page. So I think that's what it is. I think mentally you have to be in like the fucking football field of somebody else's mind state. And I think that's just the first step, doing the knowledge and the wisdom, then the understanding. And then we could get into like the culture of it, right? So we first got like on being mentally on the same page. Then the hardest part between me and Chava and making music is picking the fucking beats. Cause especially when we did like Picasso and Matisse, he would like, I would swear I'd have fire beats that I just had like fucking searching and 100 beats, bro. I listened to like 100 beats, no lie. Pick 4 or 5. And he would sometimes he wouldn't even like one. I'd be like, wow, I just literally dug for beats for 2 weeks, and he didn't like not one of them. You know what I mean? So that was when I really like kicked it in gear. And Picasso Matisse was just a funny ass album, because I think like the video games I would play like I think the first Dead Rising on the 360, you know what I mean? Like that shit was funny. I think I was still playing the second one too, but it's just funny when we have like our own different creative endeavors and things that go into the music. It's funny. Like I remember listening. I think I remember when I first heard the Art of War produced by Shizm B, shout out to him. But that's basically the same sample of Easter Gunday, that song had came out like a year before, which is crazy because that fucking beat is like 9 years old at this point, or that song is almost 9 years old at this point. But with Picasso and Matisse, with me and Chava, the hardest thing was picking the beats. Then we would obviously like, roll, light up, fucking, he would come through and we would write. And this is when we had notebooks too. That's another thing I miss about making music is the process now is I write on my phone, but that's because it's like I'm not gonna carry my notebook everywhere with me. Like, dog, like I need like a flat surface, like a table to write. I don't like writing like in my lap and shit, like all fucking, like if I'm fucking sketching a tree or some shit like that. I like writing on the table. Like I look at it as work. I sit down, I'm on the table, and that's how it always was. I would have the speakers here, especially in the summers when it was hot. I'd be right here with the speakers and all that, speakers knocking, write in the notebook, write some songs. And now it's just like my creativity. Like I just don't think I'm in that chamber. So I write in my phone, which is whack because it not only is it like impersonal, but I don't have the books I don't have any rhymes physically written for like everything, like from the Dog on Riverside. No. After the Dog on Riverside 2 to now, I don't have one song written on paper, which is already like, 3 years, literally. Like almost the Dog on Riverside Drive 2 dropped March 1st, 2022. It's been 3 fucking years since I've written in notebooks, and maybe I gotta change that. I don't know. We'll see. But the reason why my creative process is there is because I use my free time to not do shit, and not even to not do shit, just to not do anything work related. So I'm waking up, I'm walking, I'm coming home, I'm showering, I'm fucking eating, and at that point I probably have an hour or two at the most before I have to leave for work. I'm not going to be in the mood to make music. I don't know if I need to change that. I don't know if I need to keep making more music. I feel like I make music a lot, you know, because when I'm going, like, because what it is then that's my chill period. So then I drive to work, which it takes like an hour and a half sometimes to get to fucking work. Then I'm listening to beats. I'm hitting a mix for a logo. I'm doing my business. I'm chopping it up with so-and-so. I'm doing things related to music. Then I'm listening to beats, or then I'm like figuring out the albums, and then we go from there. So maybe I think I just do need to have a notebook with me just to write down the rhymes in paper form. I don't know. I definitely want to get back to that. But it goes back to when creating with artists, I don't think that I've ever had to work with somebody in that way to where like I've definitely produced Chava, like, you know, say this or say that, but with him it's kind of like he has his own way of doing it, and we've gotten, you know, kind of into it about ad libs, and that's the thing. So where it's like that's when it gets hard, where I feel like he can change something about his creativity, and he doesn't feel the same way. So then it's like, well, fuck, like, where do we find a middle ground? You know, and the middle ground is usually me just being like, okay, well, fuck it, then you just do you. I don't know if that's bad. I don't know if Dr. Dre would approve of that, but that's just kind of like, because I'm gonna learn something from it. They're not, you know, because I'll hindsight is 2020. So maybe I'll look back and be like, oh, okay, that was the right move, or it wasn't. So it's all a learning experience for me. But I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong or I could be not. But it's not even about right or wrong. It's about creativity. And creativity really ain't right or wrong. It's always opinion based. It's very subjective. It's like, you know, I could do this or I could do that. It's not really like, oh, you're not doing it right. Like I hate it when people would tell me, especially in the beginning, I was horrible at rapping. I was not good at all. I couldn't flow. My lyrics were fucking ass. In the beginning, man, I was way further down the road from a lot of the other homies around me rapping, where they just picked it up right away. It was a very much like a talented, like they had the talent type shit, even with like Mufasa, even with Chava. But at this point, I'm in the beginning, I wasn't rapping with them. I was rapping on my own. You know, I didn't even know Chava. Oh, actually, I had met Chava when I first started rapping in 15. But I had met him before one time, but that was it. So in March 1st, I made the song ELY, which is I love you, like I love you. Oh my God. I used to write like the letter EYE. That shit is cringy. I know there's some girls out there I've texted and people and friends and all that shit where I put EYEM, I'm, or like the I and all that shit. I got that from Capital Steve, so it was always like a tribute to him. But looking back, I'd be like, this motherfucker's crazy, bro. Pre fucking like knowledge of self, Serbies was like on a different level of barbaric. You know what I mean? Anything with like a CK or a K, I'd put 3 Ks, like, cause everything Capital Steez, like, I like just copied his whole shit, his whole Twitter shit, and so with the beginning, I wasn't good at all. I feel like I didn't really have nothing else to say but like my emotions. Like I would never listen to my first mixtape again. That shit is a pile of shit. There's a lot of people that have have that mixtape like in like literally CD, a mixed fucking tape. I know mixtapes are cassettes, but just on CD. I know that for a fact. Them motherfuckers are probably listening at they probably don't even listen to it. Probably threw it away. Like, who the fuck is this motherfucker? You know what I mean? I would do that. I remember this girl Rella. She hit me up like mad years later and was like, I still have that CD, and I told her to throw it away. She probably thought I was being a dickhead, but you know, a lot of my responses to people is the way I was treated. So I feel like, you know, I'm trying to work on that to where I don't respond with what I got when I was younger and respond with just like more decency. I'd be hoping, but you know, I could care less. I really could care less about how people feel and how people think towards me. You know, I always have this in the back of my mind, like whatever God needs me or it's all part of God's plan. So I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. You know? Did I press record on this shit? Here I go. God damn it. See, because I'm over here. Very DIY guy. Very do it yourself. This is why like I be forgetting about what I have and shit. I didn't even know if I turned the fucking camera on or not. But yeah, just the way I used to treat people was kind of like I didn't really care. I really pretty much did not give a fuck. And when I was younger, I wasn't good at rapping for the third fucking time. And so I don't even know where this was going and shit. But you couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't tell me that you do it like this, do it like that, because I had my own way of looking at my art. And I think that's just what it is. People have their own way of looking at their art, and you should respect that. So I don't, with working with other artists, I think you should be more open-minded, but I do get that, like, this is my art, you know, don't fucking get ahead of yourself. Like, this is how I envision myself doing this shit. So that's that, you know. The small times where people have asked me for help and shit, I've given them guidance and I've given them help, and they've been like, damn, that shit is hard as fuck, you know. So shout out to them. Carlos hooked it up with another fever. This is probably the year of I call this the year of the snake design. This shit's, I might rock this the whole 25. This shit is hard as fuck. I got the new Year of the Snake, by the way, Imperial 2025 logo. It's just hard right now because I'm kind of tight on money and I haven't really bought clothes and shit to print on. But trust me, I got logos every month the whole year. Like, I'm doing a whole nother run again, and we're starting back to the beginning with the Year of the Snake. And the whole like thesis behind that was like the first logo, the La Merca Superior you see in the beginning. You know, obviously it's not the God's Hour logo. That's going to be to what's next to come, but it's kind of more so like this is where it started. So this is how it's going to begin for 2025, the Year of the Snake. And it's like, you know, it's just fitting that we do the snake logo over again. And I understand some people are not pro Second Amendment. They don't like guns. I understand that. I totally understand, but you know, we could remix it and we could flip it to where I don't mind doing something more palatable, like a Chinese New Year Zodiac sign. Like, that's fine. You know, I'm totally with it. I'm, like I said, with my clothes, man, I don't want to be pigeonholed with just like, oh, this fool makes, you know, I've said this before with Dub, like, oh, just the money. Because I have logos like that with the money and the fucking the this and the that, the bitches. You know, I was kind of being hypocritical when I said that, but you do need some of that. And I think a little goes a long way, you know what I mean? But just when it's every logo, when that your whole aesthetic is about money and the whole like stereotypical streetwear shit, I think that's bullshit. I just want to have my own identity and fly high, no lie. You know this. Ballin', you know. With the Chinese Zodiac signs, I think that's crazy as fuck, man. Like, I wonder how true that is, because if we're being honest, so I don't want to say what animal I am, but with my shit in specifics, it's not good to be compatible with my own Chinese zodiac sign. Is that everybody's? I don't know. But I know that I'm really compatible with dragons, and I think dragons is like somewhere around like 96 and like 2000. I want to no. I think it's like 2000, right? So I want to test that theory out. I want to get with a chick that's like around my age, but it's not exactly the year I was born, because I've talked to girls that were like a few years younger than me, a little older than me, and it's just, I don't know if that's what it is. I know in China they're very superstitious with that type of shit, like with Buddhism and spirituality and mysticism and all that shit. They're literally on that type of shit in the East over there with their philosophies, because you go to Mexico, it's the same thing, but it's just got a different face, but it's the same principles. The homie, I want to say he's Vietnamese. He came from Vietnam, actually. Older homie, and fucking he remembers when being a kid before the communism had hit Vietnam. What was that, like in the 60s? And he remembers like his family was very well off. They were very wealthy, had their own like metal shops or some shit like that. And then when the communists came, they took everything and they left them poor and on the street type shit. So then they came over here. So the homie hates communism. He hates communists and shit. And who could blame him? Like, fuck them. They want to pollute the world with their bullshit ideology and their fascism and nationalism and all the isms. That's bullshit. But my whole point to that was, in his house there's like a big shrine dedicated to, like, I don't know if it's Buddha or whatever, but it don't from what I remember, I don't remember if it was Buddha specifically, but it had the red with the knickknacks around it, and it was just really dope. It was just really tricked out. There's something like that too over here. It was something like that too at this place I like eating pho at, and they're on the same type shit too, where it's like they have the Buddhas and they got the frogs, and as soon as you walk in, it's right there, boom, it's like, I think it's like a plate with incense or some shit, like something dope, something like where like they made it to where when you walk in, it's like when you walk in, it's fucking like you are greeting or you are welcomed, or it's like a protector type thing. So when you open the door and you walk in, it's right there, right in front of you. And I always look at that shit and I'm always like, I wonder if I have to pay my respects. I will go up there and fucking do the, whatever. I don't know what it is, but that shit is fire. That's how I know it's like a real authentic place. They got the kid right there doing homework on the table. It's bugged out. Every time I get my change, I always put like a quarter right there for fucking, I forgot if I think it's a frog right there. And I just put him right there on the top of his head on his fucking crown chakra. Like, there you go, dog. Pay my respects. Because I could give a fuck if you're Buddhist, Muslim, Jehovah's. Like, we all got our own shit. But I think coming and seeing where I come from, and like with my grandmother and the like the saints and all that, I identify that heavy with the Vietnamese culture. So I just want to shout out to all my Vietnamese people. I know I've talked shit about these neighbors. I'm not talking about fuck them. I'm talking about, I know I've said some stupid, sexist, racist shit on the podcast before, but don't get it confused. I got love for all my peoples out there. You know what I mean? It just, the few fucking dickheads spoil it for everybody. You know what I mean? I think that's just where racism comes from. I think it's just a few dickheads that make people have this mob mentality. Oh, like all these Mexicans, they fucking smoke a whole bunch of weed and they fucking just, all they do is hop fences and fix fucking roofs. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. I understand how I could come off to people, but just, I feel like I wanted to say that because a lot of people are choosing sides and I feel like a lot of people are running with this narrative, like, you know, especially now with like Trump being in office. I'm not even going to talk about politics. I'm just talking about people. It's just people look to the government to solve their fucking problems. And you guys know it don't start with the government, guys. Like, we are becoming a fascist fucking society where this is like, oh, if you're not down with the government, how the government's supposed to be ran, quote unquote, then you're not down with us. And it's like, fuck that. I see people with their Trump flags and the Trump things, and it's like, that's cool, that's freedom of speech, but is that because you really identify with the guy, or is that because it's cool to believe in some shit because someone else said it was okay? I don't know, but I feel like the more we can have, the more independence we can have in our thinking and freely express our own opinions and things of that nature, I think the better we'll be, you know, because I've never had a problem with anybody. You could vote for whoever. I don't care. Me personally, I don't believe in none of that shit, bro. I don't even believe really in the Bible. I don't believe in fucking politics. I don't believe in these Republic, Democrat. I don't believe in none of that shit, bro, because it all leads down to the same shit. The government is just a bunch of people, and unfortunately, a lot of people in the government are corrupt, and they fucking just bullshit our money away and all that shit. And I honestly don't know why we pay so much taxes as Californians. I've said this before, man. I have no problem with paying taxes is if I see the change. Like, if I see it actually, you know, if they build fucking, you know, like whatever, like water parks or some shit. Like, Ontario's is still a developing city on the south side. You know, on the north and on the west side, yeah, you guys are already, you know, we're already all good. I say you guys, look how divisive I came already. But we're already like we're good on that side. We just need to kind of renovate. But over here, we're still building. Like, we're pushing all the farms out. Like, all the farm shit is getting pushed out. Okay, so if we're going to push that out, why don't we have some more communal type things? They're trying to build more HOAs that don't help nobody but that neighborhood they're in. It's very like, you know, this neighborhood and is not going to be with this neighborhood. You know, this big ass fucking park by my house is literally the get down spot. It's a big ass park, restrooms, it's got a pool, benches, a whole fucking tennis court, like 2 soccer fields, like fucking, I don't know, 3 baseball fields. We need more shit like that to where everyone can come together and kick it. But no, they want to build these fucking homeowners associated fucking, not even, what do they call those shits? Not duplexes, but townhomes. And it's like, it creates this animosity of like, we're not neighbors. Oh, you better watch out. Like, they try to press me here a bunch of times. Like, oh, you're not from this community. We don't watch you here. You bitch. All I do is walk around. I can't walk around. Who the fuck's gonna stop me from walking around the neighborhood? I dare you to do something, bro. Call the cops. I hand you the phone. You want to be that much of a snitch to call the fucking police just because I want to walk around? You're fucking crazy. You're out of your fucking mind if you really snitching to the po because somebody's walking through your neighborhood. That's the type of shit I'm talking about. Paranoid neighbors to where I would always park in front of this guy's house and fucking he would call the cops. Sometimes the cops would already be sitting in their car when I pulled up. Like, you know what I mean? The cops never said nothing. Eventually they got to the point where they would drive around, see me or be posted up and be like, oh, this fool, yeah, this is his routine. He wakes up, he walks. He's not doing anything. Do I look sus? Do I look like a fucking, like a maniac or something? I don't know what it is. These fucking faggots, I'm sorry for saying that, but these fucking assholes, they come, yo, we don't know what you're doing over here. You know what I mean? Some of the neighbors, I know, I do live over here, bro. I do. That's all they can ask you. Y'all ain't the fucking police, bro. Y'all not detectives, detective dick. You know what I mean? Y'all can't come over here and try to press me like if I'm some sort of bitch, because I'm not, bro. You know what I mean? I know what it is with a lot of people. A lot of people are just scared and they're pussy, and the way they're raised is like they think they have the law on their side because they pay a certain tax. Well, guess what? That's your dumb fuck ass fault. You wanted to go in the HOA, that's on you, but guess what? I'm not using none of the facilities. I'm not out here being a dick. I'm just out here walking. My bad, because we all came together and built Pokemon shit over here. So I come over here and play Pokemon. The minute you guys take all that shit away, I'm not going to be walking around here anymore. But guess what? You have no authority over that. So fuck you. You know? Paranoid neighbors, man. When I would park in front of the neighbors, they fucking they put cameras and this thing that chirps like dee, 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 dee. When you walk by, like it senses you, like it wants you to know that it's picking you up. And it's like, bro, like how fucking scared are you guys? That's crazy, bro. I got so much faith in God that I don't even give a fuck. Like, I'm not daring nobody, but you are one dumb motherfucker if you want to come into my house and think I ain't going to defend myself. It's the people that put all this high-tech security and shit and don't got one blick in the house. More blicks over fucking security systems, because guess what? All it's going to do is call the cops. You could have did that yourself. Saved you all the fucking money. Doesn't mean anything. You're going to break into my house, bro? You better be prepared to take my life, because guess what? I'm going to take you out before you take mine, bro. I swear to God. Like, I will throw all this shit away. I'm throwing all this shit away if you come into my house trying to harm me or my family. It's just the point blank period. It's the bottom line, bro. And a lot of people are not living like that. A lot of people are living in this scared mentality where it's like everyone's out to get them, like paranoid neighbors. Like a lot of neighbors are out here. A lot of people are out here living in fear. You know what I mean? Why are you living in fear, bro? This other chick, it's the same thing. I park right in front of her house. It's the fucking street. You don't own the fucking street. But literally, I'm playing Pokemon, and this is the thing. Like, she'll, like, if I'm, like, parked and shit, like, right here, she'll pull up and fucking look at me. And she'll roll. She's rolled down her window before and, like, fucking, get out of the car. I'm like, bitch, I ain't gonna get out of my car. What the fuck? You fucking 60-year-old fucking stupid bitch. Like, why people be aggressive towards you, thinking in their mind they're in the right because, like, whatever. They think they're in the right because of whatever is going on in their mind, but they're not. You don't own the fucking street. There's a park right across the street from your house. I got to go out that way. I'm not going to park across the street, bust a bitch, and then go. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to park right in front of your house, play Pokemon for like 10 fucking minutes, and then I'm leaving. I don't understand what it is with some people, but like literally this bitch fucking chased me in my car around the block. And I said, first of all, this chick shouldn't be living by herself. I can just tell she has like Alzheimer's or dementia or whatever. Like she's if she don't have that already, she's getting into those stages because she has that paranoia. Like I've seen her, I've been in my car and she's seen me outside of her house and she's walked across the street to kind of like, you know what I mean? Like trying to see like who's in the car and shit. It's like, bro, you could just calmly approach my vehicle, no crazy shit. Excuse me, sir. What's going on? Very simple. Hey, excuse me. How come you're always parked in front of my house? When you fucking doing all this screaming shit and you doing all this weird shit, I'm not gonna want to talk to you. What the fuck? Are you crazy? I don't know what the fuck's up with you. The fuck? I don't know what you got going on. She lives alone. This bitch lives alone. I'm not risking shit, to have a conversation with this crazy bitch. She's called the cops before. Fuck her. She's chased me and she's only did it one time, but I was like, I think she was coming home. She seen me and then like she flipped the bitch instead of going into her house into the driveway, and fucking she just waited. So I was like, as soon as I leave, I was already done. I was like, oh, it looks super sus if I leave as she's coming here. But I was like, okay, well, I'm done, so we'll see where this goes. And she starts following me. Then I gun it. I was like, oh no, fuck that. That bitch ain't gonna fucking, you know what I mean? She guns it with me. And she starts chasing me in my car. So what I was gonna do was, I think I was gonna go just in circles. I was just gonna keep driving in circles until fucking she got the hint, like, you know, this bitch is crazy. But I think once I started getting into the side streets, I was like, that's what I'm going to, I think I was going to go in circles, but I was like, fuck it. I'm going to just go into like the little side streets and then go back on the main and then go around and go back into my house. You know what I mean? Cause I live very, very, that's like literally on the next neighborhood. So I was like, I'm not going to fucking let this bitch follow me to where I live. Like, what the fuck, you know? So yeah, I think once I hit like the second side street, she was like, oh shit, like I don't know where the fuck like to go from here. So she just, you know, I think she just turned around and went back to her house. But it's just shit like that where, you know, I didn't mean to take so much fucking time out to talk about this, but I think it just needs to be said where we are in the world, you know, where people are living in fear, and it's wild. I really don't know how to call it, but that's why like knowledge itself and all this shit I try to preach on the podcast, it's very important to me that everyone knows about shit like this, because I know I'm not the only one that goes through shit like this. There's a lot of fucking weird shit that's going on in the 2020s and the letra that, you know, I've read, and a lot of it is true, man. A lot of negative things are happening, and shit is just moving fast. It's just weird. So you got to stay protected and stay blessed, man. I don't know if I wanted to talk about anything else besides the Year of the Snake. There's a lot of Year of the Snake shoes that have come out. I don't really think I like any of them. The Air Forces, the Year of the Snake Air Forces are okay. The Adidas Year of the Snake, but I don't know if they were for this year. Just a lot of them weren't good to me at all. You know, even the Jordan 11 Year of the Snakes are like, any gray snake has got to be real selective. The shit that they were coming out with as of recently, it wasn't good to me. I had a whole bunch of other shit, but maybe I'll save that for a different podcast. So with the message of the day is, man, I just dropped a whole bunch of shit, man. I'll say really, I'll go back to the gym shit. Protect your peace and protect your loved ones, protect your family, man, because there's a lot of shit out there that'll try to trick you out of protecting your peace and protecting just everything you have going for yourself. You know, I think shit going back to shit just moves fast, and you could be flying and doing this and that, and we lose sight of what's really important in our life. So I think that's the message of the day: is never lose sight of what's important for you. The most important things in life are your family, your loved ones, your friends, and just protecting your peace and going about your life with positivity is the best way to go. This is the God's Hour.
Max was the turnout of my lifestyle. Smoking green, blowing white clouds to build the blue skies. Conversating with the gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Walk through the sands of times like Gara. On the other side of that gad is karma. You wet Prada, the devil like inside your box now, while the angels fly over my headstone.